So now when we talk about tiger is a very iconic species. It captures everybody's attention, extremely charismatic species world over. There's a lot of support for tiger conservation. And there is a reason why tiger conservation is important. Tiger once upon a time spread out across Asia and made large parts of Asia its home. So we have lost almost 92% of the original tiger habitat. India has done wonderfully well in tiger conservation. So right now we have more than 75% of the global tiger population in India. There are certain things which we, in this process of increasing numbers and conservation, we should also remember certain behaviors of tiger. Tigers have to move away from wherever they are born and move to other forests in search of food or mate. So forests have to be connected to each other. Otherwise, these animals are not going to be able to move out. Until and unless we protect these very fragile network systems, it is going to be difficult to even increase. Before we actually get to the topic of discussing about tiger conservation, I would like to invite everybody to take a step back and think about a much bigger problem on hand. That is the speed at which we are losing our forest cover and biodiversity across the world. So here we, as you can see in this map, most of the countries have lost their forest cover and also a large percentage of biodiversity. Several thousands of species have gone extinct in the recent past, and many more are on the verge of extinction. India has roughly 20 to 25% of its landmass under forest cover. And as you can see in the map here, most of the forest areas are fragmented. There's very little forest patch which is continuous and large, except maybe in the northeast and in the Western Ghats. But in this map, in the recent map, over the last 5 years, although we have seen an overall increase in forest or tree cover in India, the main biodiversity part of India, that is Eastern Himalayas and the Northeast, we are seeing a very rapid loss of forest cover. So even though we say that we have 25% of our landmass under forest cover, here you see the breakdown, and very small percentage of this is actually dense forest or the very dense forest. And this is where all the ecological functions of a forest are performed. Of course, we have open forests, which are grasslands and a mixture of trees and scrubs. And they also perform very unique functions and have species which are unique to certain landscapes. So now when we talk about tiger is a very iconic species. It captures everybody's attention, extremely charismatic species world over. There's a lot of support for tiger conservation. And there is a reason why tiger conservation is important. It's an apex predator. As such, it balances out the ecosystem. It maintains the prey base, that is all the ungulates and other herbivores in that particular ecosystem. And by that, the biomass is also preserved. So here we'll just go back to a history of tiger. And this is a very recent paper. And here it shows that approximately 9,000 years back, less than, or let's say around 9,000 years back, we had tigers which spread across Asia, right from the Black Sea to the Pacific Ocean and from Siberia down to Bali. So it was spread out across more than 220,000 square kilometers. That is roughly 22 million square kilometers across Asia. So this paper beautifully starts with this saying by John that a place belongs forever to whoever claims it hardest, remembers it most obsessively, wrenches it from itself, shapes it, renders it, and loves it so radically that he remakes it in his own image. And that perfectly describes tiger. Tiger, once upon a time, spread out across Asia and made large parts of Asia its home. And this paper describes an indigenous map for tiger. The indigenous map is projection rather based on historical data. It's a projection that what must have been the range of the species before humans made any drastic impact on the survival of that particular species. So on the left side, that is figure A, you see the spread of tigers roughly 8,500 years back. And in figure B, you see what is the presence of tigers. So once upon a time, it was spread out across 36 countries across Asia, and now it is restricted to roughly 10 range countries. So these are a few lines which I have taken from the same paper. Please forgive me. You don't have to read everything. I just wanted to highlight here that tigers, although they are tiger is one of the most persecuted species in the world, but it has survived. In spite of all the killing, it has survived and it has outlasted several empires and kingdoms and dynasties. And tiger is still alive today. And that is largely because of the conservation efforts which have gone into keeping tigers alive. And tigers are also very important as a keystone species or an umbrella species because it is a habitat generalist. And you see tigers which are present right from the temperate forests to tropical forests. It's also present in grasslands and also up to desert areas in arid scrublands. So what is important for tiger survival is forest cover and presence of prey species for its food. Why does it need forest cover? Because tiger is a stalker and a hunter. It does not chase and hunt. It does not run very long distances. It rather stalks and comes close to the prey and then kills. And also it depends on medium size to large size ungulates or prey species for its food. So as long as both of these are present, tiger can survive in an area. And therefore, in these ecoregions, that is what connected all of these places, and tigers were spread out across all these areas. Another very important take-home message from this paper is that the residential area, that is the map, when they mapped tigers' location across Asia, they saw that the resident tigers were present in more than 100 lakh square kilometers, but almost an equal number, almost that many number of square kilometers were also explored by tigers. And this is a very, very important behavior of tiger, that young males, they make extraordinary dispersal moves. They move very long distances, exploring territory. And therefore, this is a very critical behavior of tiger, which we should always keep in mind when we are trying to conserve this species. So even today, these are the threats to tiger conservation. Poaching is a very big problem because there is an international market for tiger body parts. And therefore, poaching is, no matter how much we protect the forest or improve the prey base, unless we control this international market or there is some way where we can curb this trade, tigers are going to keep dying. And also there is a lot of forest cover which is lost to developmental activities, large projects which are coming up. These are unavoidable. It's not that we cannot develop. Present day situation is like this, that we do need all these programs for development, but at the same time, we should also keep in mind that these developmental activities can be made around forest cover and should keep certain basic criteria in mind at the time of development. So presently, there are roughly 63 tiger conservation landscapes across the range of tiger in Asia and a little bit in Russia. And this is less than 10% of what it was 8,000 or 9,000 years back. And they represent, so we have lost almost 92% of the original tiger habitat. So we have less than 10% of the habitat today. And India has done wonderfully well in tiger conservation in the last 5 decades or so. So Project Tiger was established in 1973. And after that, in 2010, the tiger range countries, they met in Russia and they decided that they should target to double tiger population by 2022. Only India has managed to do that. So right now we have more than 75% of the global tiger population in India, although we have less than, although here you see the possible tiger habitat it's close to 9 lakhs square kilometers. So India has less than 1 lakh square kilometers which are actually conserved as tiger reserves. And these 58 tiger reserves are spread out across 35 tiger conservation landscape. So you see, we have a very small habitat in India, but we hold the largest tiger population. And these tiger populations are embedded in very high human densities, one of the highest human density in the world. So it is, of course, it is congratulatory that we have managed to do this in spite of all our human pressures. We have managed to save tiger. We have doubled tiger numbers, and we have also increased the area under protection. But there are certain things which we, in this process of increasing numbers and conservation, we should also remember certain behaviors of tiger and never forget what is the key factors which are important for tiger conservation. So the first one, these are certain technical terms, but I will break it down. One is philopatry and sex-biased dispersal. That means that the tigers, the male and female tigers which are born, one of the sex stays where it is born and one of the sex migrates away. So most of the mammals, it is the females who stay close to their mother wherever they are born, while the males disperse away. And that is the same in case of tigers. In case of, I'll just give an example. In case of humans, for example, it is the other way around. Males, they stay close to they stay in their natal homes, while females move from one house to another. So unlike that, most of the other mammals, it is the other way around. Females stay close to their mother. Mothers are actually comfortable in sharing their resources with their daughters, and therefore it is a better sort of a survival tactic. And here, during the course of my PhD, we found that it's not really a very fixed behavior. It is actually dynamic, and it depends on the resources which are available. For example, female philopatry and male dispersal, which is the classical signature, is seen in those places, in those tiger reserves where the resources are optimal. When the protection is optimal, forest cover is available, and also where food is available, you see this classical pattern of female philopatry and males dispersing away from wherever they are born. But when resources are limited, when the prey base is very low, or if the disturbance is high, in such places, both males and females move away. That means there is no breeding population in that area, and tigers are transit, and they just move away from those places. And in other tiger reserves or forests where resources are high, or the forest cover is bigger, and there are many connected forests together, then both the sexes do not have to move away very far away. So even the females move a little bit, and males also, even though they move a little further away, they don't really go away. Like, for example, Nagarhole, Mudumalai, Bandipur complex, all these forests are connected with each other, and therefore the tigers do not have to disperse very far away to search for resources. In this case, we see some level of philopatry in both male and female offspring. Another very important factor, which, as I've already told you, is that tigers have to move. Obviously, male tigers. Another very important characteristic of this species is that it's a solitary animal, and the population densities are always low. They are not very dense. I mean, you can't have too many tigers in a forest. Maximum, with the maximum available resources also, there'll be about 20 tigers in 100 square kilometers, not more than that. So in such cases, tigers have to move away from wherever they are born and move to other forests in search of food or mate. So forests have to be connected to each other. Otherwise, these animals are not going to be able to move out. And in the case of the Western Ghats in Nilgiri Biosphere Reserve, or even from right down from Satyamangalam up to Bhadra, we see that the connectivity is still intact, fairly intact, and tigers can move or they can navigate very easily along. I mean, at the base of the mountains, they don't really have to climb the mountains to navigate from one forest to another. They can easily navigate. Thereby, there is not too much of energy also which is utilized here. And the resources are available, prey base is good, forest cover is good, and it is relatively easy for these animals to move here. But on the other hand, in central India, although we have several tiger reserves here, these are embedded in human-dominated landscapes, and there's a lot of disturbances outside the tiger reserves. So here you see in this figure, the green patches are the tiger reserves, and all the intervening spaces, there are very sparse forest cover and lot of disturbances. And this is a study where several researchers put their data together, and using DNA, camera trap, even by tracking tigers through radio collaring. And all of us came out with the same results, saying that these yellow lines here, these are the potential corridors by which tigers move from one forest to another. And in our study, we found that these paths, the way the tiger moves from one forest to another, is usually through the rough terrain where agriculture is not possible, or where humans have not really used that land for any developmental purposes. But tiger does have to navigate it. And this is the reason why we see so much of conflict in central India, especially around forests in Maharashtra. Around Tadoba, we see a lot of conflict cases where either humans are killed or tigers are killed. And also around, and now more recently, such cases have also started coming up around Mysore. So here, as the forests keep disappearing in central India or even in other parts of the country, we need to understand that we cannot trap tigers inside certain tiger reserves and increase their numbers just inside their tiger reserves. It is equally important that the intervening forests are also protected. Until and unless we protect these very fragile network systems, it is going to be difficult to even increase. I mean, maybe we have reached a saturation point presently with the type of forest conditions we have. But in case we want to increase tiger numbers, then this intervening forest network have to be improved or protected. And another very important behavior of tiger, like in all other species, is mate selection. It is not that you can just introduce a male and a female together and they are going to reproduce or they are going to mate with each other. There is definitely a biological phenomenon which is in play here. And I mean, many people who are in the audience here today, if you all have experience in the zoo or if you all are managers of wild animals or forest systems, you will relate with what I'm saying, that in the zoo also, when you introduce a male to a new female, it's not necessary that these two animals will accept each other. And sometimes these introductions can lead to casualties. They can be fatal also. So it's the same in case of tigers. There is definitely a selection which is operating here. And this is crucial, especially when we are introducing tigers into a new area or reintroducing tigers wherever they have been lost. Because we select a few tigers from different places and we introduce them and we expect them to mate, but there is something else which is operating here. And it's a very simple explanation. There are certain cues. It could be pheromones, it could be visual cues, it could be even, mainly it is olfaction, smell. So there are certain cues which indicate what is the genetic diversity of the individual, whether it complements your own diversity. I mean, it is complicated, but that's how it operates. And therefore, mates are selected in such a way that you can complement your own diversity and improve the immunity of the offspring. And this is crucial as tiger numbers keep going down, or as the forest gets depleted, because these animals are also exposed to several diseases. And if the immune system is not strong enough, they're not going to be able to face the changing environment and the situation around them. So it was a very quick talk, I think. So I would like to end here by saying that yes, we have numbers. We have the largest population of tigers in the world, but we have to remember that they have to be wild. The key takeaway here is wild, that until and unless these tigers are free to perform their ecological functions, they need to move around, they need to find their mate, they need to explore territories. And unless this freedom is available, the main purpose of this species is lost. So it is important that we also have large number of tigers, but at the same time protect the forests and the corridors networking these forests, which will allow these animals to explore other territories. Thank you. I would like to thank my mentor, Dr. Shivaji, without whom I wouldn't be here today, and all my team members who from 2009 who have worked with me in my lab, colleagues and friends at CCMB. Thank you very much. Thank you.